In 1967, the Prime Minister of Australia went missing, and we still have not found him.
At the time of his disappearance, 59-year-old Harold Holt had only been Prime Minister of Australia for less than 2 years. He was an avid outdoorsman and particularly loved to spearfish. Often, when he would take vacations, he would spearfish and wear a wetsuit so that he could swim year-round. But he found that air tanks were not only just annoying to carry around, but also inauthentic to the spearfishing experience. When he was swimming and he speared a fish, he would unzip his suit, place the still bleeding fish inside the suit, and then just keep swimming and fishing. According to his friends, he could hold his breath for a really long time and tread water for very long periods, but he wasn't a great surface swimmer. Sometimes during parliamentary debates, he would just hold his breath to see how long he could. Just to amuse himself, because, what else are you gonna do during an important debate? On the day of his disappearance, December 17th, he was swimming in the sea near Portsea, Victoria. He had been in great health his entire life, though his dad and his older brother both had a history of dying in their late 50s. But just a few months before, in September, he had begun treatment for a shoulder injury that he had originally gotten when he was younger. He was prescribed painkillers and physiotherapy twice a week. Just a few days before his disappearance, his physician told him that he shouldn't overexert himself and cut back on tennis and swimming. He was also prescribed morphine, though there was no direct evidence that he had taken any on the day of his disappearance. That day was pretty typical for him, and he decided to take an afternoon spearfishing trip. He and a few friends stopped at Cheviot Beach, an area that he knew and swam in quite regularly. Harold and a family friend, Alan Stewart, were the only ones of the group that went in the water. Alan stayed a bit more close to shore than Harold, however, and Harold just kept swimming deeper until he began to get dragged out into sea. The others called out to him, but he didn't raise his arms or cry for help. He just kinda slipped under the water and disappeared. Not long after, an official search began. But even after 190 people helped out in that first day, he wasn't found. Many people think that Harold simply drowned, or may have suffered a heart attack, or was stung by jellyfish, attacked by a shark, all sorts of crazy theories. But some claim that Harold took his own life. He was supposedly depressed and mentally unstable before, and might have thought that his political career wasn't doing well. But there's not really any evidence of this. Some people, however, think that he faked his own death. Conspiracy theorists think maybe there was a secret mistress, or he just didn't want to be the prime minister anymore and didn't know how to get out. Years later, it was confirmed that he'd had a couple affairs, so who knows? The most likely theory is that he drowned and that his remains disappeared at sea.